You're on.
Hi, it's me again, Stephanie Yoga. I have some more stretches that I want to share with you today. This is a 30-minute deep stretch that we're going to try to focus on both the hips and in the upper body. I have a new addition to my video this time. I'm trying to play some music in the background, so we'll see how that goes. In terms of props, again, if you happen to have blocks at home, you can have yoga blocks. If you don't have them, you can have big books. You might want to have a blanket to put under your knees at any time if your knees are sensitive. And if you have a yoga strap, we're going to use the yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, all you need is a towel. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to start first by lying on our backs. Just bring yourself onto your mat, hug your knees into your chest. And I want you just to give your low back just a little gentle roll. Just see how you're feeling. You can pull your knees slightly apart. You can have your hands anywhere that feels comfortable on your legs. Just rocking. And of course, if rocking around doesn't feel good, then just stay still. We're going to take both of our hands behind the legs and stretch them up in the air. Push up through your heels, point your toes, alternating heels and toes, heels and toes. Give your feet a nice little squeeze. We'll even do a couple circles. So just kind of do a whole mashup of stuff here that feels like you're loosening up some tightness in the ankles. And of course it goes down the legs. We'll do this for one more breath. And then bring your feet flat to the ground. Your feet are going to be about hip distance apart, and you should be able to just reach your hands and touch with the tips of your fingers your heels. That's where you know you have some good position. Your arms are alongside your body, and I want you just to lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath. This is bridge pose. And then lower yourself back down. And we're going to do that again. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lower back down. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lower back down. And once your spine is back down on the ground, we're going to hug the knees in a second time. And now for some of you, you might feel okay that you want to pull your knees wider apart. So we're just trying to flatten the low back a little bit more. Some of you might want to grab behind your knees and just be pulling the legs wider apart. And then some of you may even want to grab the outside edges of your feet and start into a happy baby, but it's very early for that. So just listen to your body. We're going to take 2 more breaths like this. And then from here, bring your feet back down to the ground. I want you to separate your feet wide on the mat. Toes are pointing forward, and we're just going to drop our knees from side to side. And you're just going to take it nice and easy. I want you to remember to be breathing as you do this. It's so often when we start a pose, we begin to hold our breath, but that's not what we're trying to do. Today, we're trying to release. We're trying to breathe more deeply, feel a little more relaxed, have a sense of calm. Let's do this one more time on either side. And last time. And then this time, I want you to stretch your legs out nice and long. Bring your arms over your head and reach through all 10 of your fingers. Sparkling out your fingers, sparkling your toes, just kind of wiggle everything around. You can stretch, you're trying to lengthen, open up the chest, and then just softening your arms into whatever way feels comfortable. You can certainly bend your arms if you need to, but I want you just to turn your head from side to side a couple of times. You will do one more time. And then come back to center one more time. Bring your knees into your chest. Might feel a little looser now. And then however you would like to bring yourself up, we're going to come up to a seated position, however you want to do that. You can roll up, you can roll to one side. I want you to try to cross your legs. If it's not available to cross your legs, you can take your book or your block and you can sit a little bit higher, and that just takes some pressure off of the hips. Whatever feels most comfortable. We're going to sit up nice and tall, and we're just going to twist to the left. And just draw your abdominal muscles in, try and have a nice straight spine. And we'll come back to center, and we're going to twist to the other side. Pulling your belly muscles in, just opening up your back, and we'll come back to center. If you can, if it feels comfortable for you, I want you to just take your fingers and start to stretch forward. Maybe you're moving just a little bit, and that's okay. Maybe you're really getting deep into it, but I want you to notice what's happening with your sits bones, and I want you to push back down onto the mat or onto the block. And you're going to feel a little extra pull in your low back, and you may even want to tuck your chin into your chest. We're going to take a nice big breath. Inhale, and exhale, and then come all the way back up. We're going to stretch the legs out, give them a little shake, and then I want you to switch the cross of your legs. So whichever way you had before, you're going to switch. Again, maybe sitting on the prop. Bring a hand down beside you, and we're just going to take a nice side bend. And I want you to keep your neck nice and relaxed, and try not to clench your teeth. You're just trying to open up the side of the body. Take a nice big breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And then we'll come back up, and we'll do the same thing to the other side. Might feel different. We're not completely aligned on our body. We don't have exactly the same sensation on one side of the body as we do on the other. We have injuries and past trauma, etc. Come all the way back up. And then last but not least, we're going to take our hands behind the back and just stretch. Opening up your heart, maybe opening up your throat a little bit. And release, coming back. Okay, so let's stretch our legs out again. Give them a little shake. If you feel like you want to give your toes a little wiggle and squeeze again. Let's bring ourselves up onto our hands and our knees. So we're going to come up into a tabletop position. Your hands are underneath your shoulders. We're going to move through some cat and some cows to open up the back. So rounding your back, hammocking your belly. We'll do that again. Rounding your back, hammocking your belly. So I want you to really be aware of which part of your spine you can feel a really nice big stretch in. Are you focusing maybe on the middle of your back and you're stretching? Maybe you're thinking about how that feels more in your upper spine, but you're breathing in and breathing out. Let's do this one more time. And then we'll come back. We're going to do a bit of a torture pose. I want you to curl your toes under. We're going to sit back on our heels. And this can feel really, really nice for some people, and it can feel really awful for others. So if it's feeling awful, of course, you can always come down and put the weight on your hands. You can always sit up as well if it's too much pressure on the knees. But we're going to just give it a little bit longer here because our feet get so tight. And then that just creates tension all the way up the legs. If you feel like it's available to you, we're going to just take our hands and interlace them behind the back. Let's try and hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then coming back down. Bring your hands to the ground, and we're just going to gently tap out the feet. You can just tap them out on the mat, maybe squeeze and releasing your toes. Okay. So now we're going to take, if you need to, we're going to take our block or our book, and you're going to take it and place it in between your ankles. And I want you to try and sit down on the block. So you should feel a pretty big stretch in your legs. And again, maybe it's not possible. Maybe you need to use 2 of your blocks or your books and sit up a little bit higher. Maybe this still doesn't feel good and you're going to come all the way up, and that's okay. Some of you might be thinking this doesn't feel like enough of a stretch and you want to actually sit right down without using the prop. So these are all sorts of variations, all sorts of options. We're going to take just one more big breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. Okay, let's come back onto our hands and our knees, and we're going to stretch the legs. So take your right leg and send it back with the toes curl under. So a nice opposing movement here for the legs. Really releasing the tightness that we were just feeling in our knees and our thighs. And we're going to switch the legs. Another opportunity to open up the feet. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll bring the legs back and we're going to start to come back into child's pose. So big toes touching, knees are apart, lower yourself down to the ground. If you're able to, bring your forehead to the ground again. We have lots of ways to modify. So from your child's pose, I want you to walk your hands over to the right side. Take a nice big stretch over to the right side of the mat. You're going to push into your opposite hip. And then let's go over to the opposite side. So pushing into the opposite hip. Just want to feel this big sensation of lengthening, elongating in your body. And then a couple options here. You can either come back into child's pose, or maybe you want to come up into tabletop and do some cat and cows again. Or maybe you want to come up into downward facing dog and just start to walk out your legs. Now if you're in downward facing dog, I want you to make sure that your hands are shoulder distance apart, your fingers are spread wide, and you're pressing down on your finger pads. Sliding your knees back, curling your toes under, and stretching your legs out any amount. Your heels do not need to touch the ground. And we're just going to take 3 more breaths wherever you are at. If you're in downward dog, maybe shake out your head a little bit. Just let your neck and your jaw release. Let's take 1 more breath. And then I'd like you to walk your hands and your feet closer together. If you're in tabletop or in child's pose, bring yourself up into a standing forward fold. So we're all going to be in a forward fold position. Your knees can be quite bent. They do not need to be straight. I want you to be feeling a big stretch on the backs of the legs. You're going to be feeling it in your spine. And just let your arms dangle. Now, while you're here in this position, I also want you to pull your belly muscles in. That will help support your back so you don't have too much work happening in your low back. We're just going to take another couple of breaths here. Maybe you feel comfortable and you want to sway. Maybe you feel like you want to grab behind your legs. Maybe you're quite happy where you are. You're going to use a prop maybe under your hands. These are all good options. Let's take 1 more breath, and then again, still with your core pulled in, we're going to start to roll ourselves up bone by bone. Nice and easy. Coming all the way up to the top. We can roll our shoulders a few times. Roll them forward, roll them back. You might have a bit of a dizzy feeling, and that's okay. That's really normal. We'll let it subside. We'll take our hands behind our back, a nice big stretch through the chest. And then let's actually try and drop an ear closer to a shoulder. So we'll do our left side, let's say. Left side closer, left ear to the left shoulder. And then right ear to the right shoulder. And then we'll come back to center, and then any amount that you can, drop your chin towards your chest. So you're going to feel that stretch in the back of the neck. All the way back up. And then just shake out the arms. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a sway. can just gently tap your body. Okay. So from here, I'd like us to grab our towel or our strap, whichever we're using, and we're going to do one of my most favorite stretches in the whole entire world. And for those of you who are regular students of mine, you will know that I've said this a lot. I want you to grab onto your strap so that you have a nice wide grip. And all we're going to do, and you can just take this as slowly as you want. If you don't trust me that this is going to actually work, I want you to bring your arms over your head. And as you can tell, you can take a wider grip, right? Maybe you loose, or you bring it in a little closer, but you're trying to keep your arms as straight as you can. If you have injuries, of course, you're going to modify, that's all right. But especially for everybody in the world right now, I am sure doing this for all of us. We've had a really stressful week, and we hold so much stress in our shoulders and in our neck. Even if you think that you haven't been holding that stress, you probably have to some degree. Maybe it creeps up even when you're sleeping. But this is trying to loosen everything up. I'll give you a side view. So it doesn't have to look like what I'm doing. It can look more like this. It's okay, but you're getting the idea. You want to just feel like you are opening up that tight grip that is in your body. We're just loosening it up, and keep breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your nose. Let's do this one more time. If you get tired, just stop. And then if you still have a little bit of strength in your arms to do this, you can be holding your towel or your strap, and we'll just take some bends to the side. So just lateral bends. Again, trying to keep your neck relaxed, try not to clench your teeth. We'll do one more time either side. Okay. Let's come all the way back, and we'll just take the strap and just let it go back down, or the towel. Just go back down to the ground, shake out your arms. Okay. Let's do one more releasing stretch for our upper body. So take our right arm and bring it underneath the left arm, coming into eagle arms. So for some of us, you're going to take eagle arms. For others, might feel nicer to do this, that's okay. But we're all going to stand up nice and tall, and remember to breathe. Breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your nose. Let's do that again. Breathing in, breathing out. We'll take our hands, if you're in this position, and maybe push them up a little bit higher, so you're going to even feel more opening in between your shoulder blades. Make sure your neck is soft, and release the arms. And just let them go. You might feel some nice tingling in your muscles. If you like the sensation of folding forward, you can do that here before we do the other side. So just shake everything out again. And again, keeping your belly muscles pulled in, we're going to roll ourselves up nice and slow. Good. Okay. Catching your breath at the top, and we'll do the other side. So left arm under right, or whichever side you did, do the opposite. You can always do this. And we're just going to take some nice big deep breaths here. Thinking about your feet planting firmly in the ground, and how you are lengthening up nice and tall through your spine, through the crown of your head. And of course, maybe lifting up the arms a little bit higher. We'll take one more breath. And gently release the arms and shake them out. Shake them out. Good. Okay. Let's bring our arms over our head. We'll do one more thing standing. Let's grab onto our right wrist. And I want you to take another lateral bend over to the side, and you can give your neck a little bit of a twist. That's my music, it just seemed to have turned off. Some things never change. And we'll come all the way back up, and we'll grab onto the opposite wrist and pull. And again, just keeping a nice juicy neck, super, super juicy and soft jaw. And then we'll come all the way back down. Just let your arms float alongside the body. Okay. Let's come down to a seated position. Just come right down, and in fact, you know what might feel nice for us right now? Let's bring our knees into our chest, and we'll give ourselves another little hug. And then from our backs, we're going to bring our feet flat to the ground, so staying on your back. Let's take our right ankle, and we're going to cross it over the left thigh. If you get a stretch like this, then that's great. You can stay like this. If you need more, you can bend your leg and reach and grab your left thigh or your thigh. Some of you may even want to grab onto your shin, but you're always keeping your foot that's crossed over the thigh, you're always keeping that foot flexed. Flexed means you're engaging and you're pointing the toes to the ceiling versus softening. And that just protects your knee. Let's take 2 more breaths like this. This is such a good release in the hip, in the glute. Hold lots of tightness in our glute muscles, our glute med. Just release and stretch. Take another breath. And then just softening, we'll bring our feet to the outside edges of the mat again. So before we do the other side, I always kind of like to wipe the slate clean, so to speak. So let's just drop the knees from side to side. Just getting ready to do the next side. So we'll come back up. Left ankle crosses over the right thigh. And again, seeing how it feels. Maybe reaching and grabbing your thigh, maybe keeping your leg the way it is because this side feels tighter, it's all good. You're trying to keep your back pressing into the ground. And just lots of sensation in that hip area. Trying to soften your shoulders back. I know it's hard. And actually, here's another tip as well. If you find that you're really straining and you're trying to hang onto your leg, you can take one of your props. You can pause this and come up and take one of your props and place it behind your head and then go back to this. And all that does is it just brings your upper body a little closer to your legs and it just makes the pose a little more accessible. So let's take one more breath. And we will release the legs again, and we'll do that same sort of movement of wiping the slate clean, just dropping the knees from side to side. You can even bring your arms over your head this time. Incorporate your newly stretched out upper body and upper arms. And then from here, we're going to come up to a seated position. So like before, if it feels good for you, you can roll yourself up on your spine, or you can roll over to one side and lift yourself up, whatever works. Let me just see if I can get my music to play again. Oh, it did. Okay. So we're going to take our towel or our strap, and I'd like you to have your right leg stretched out. You're going to bend your left leg and bring the foot inside the butt. Take your strap, and we're going to use this to help guide us to a straighter spine and get a deeper stretch. So sometimes we worry too much about maybe looking forward and looking down at our leg. We're not worried about that this time. What we're going to try and do is use the strap to try and keep our back straighter, and we're going to try and shine our heart towards our toes. We're going to try and take a good count of 10 here. So count us down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And come all the way back up. strap where it is, your strap or your towel. We're going to step the bent knee. We're going to step that foot over. And now you're going to twist towards your bent knee. So if you're following my directions, it's towards the left. So lift yourself up nice and tall. Continuing to get that stretch on the outside hip. Some of you might want to even do a little bit more. You can take your elbow and hook it on the outside of your leg. It does not have to happen. We're trying to not collapse. We don't want to do this. We want to stay up nice and tall. Take a really good breath into your lungs. Just really a big, delicious breath of air. And then we'll come back. Your same knee, your same leg. I want you to rest your knee on top of your bottom leg knee. And then from here, you can either grab your towel or your strap, or maybe without it. Whatever works for you. We're going to just see any amount that we can come forward. This time it's okay if your back is a little bit straighter, but you're just trying to really breathe into the sensation in the back of the leg. It should feel pretty intense. Your toes are pointing to the ceiling. All right, we'll come back up. Release your legs. Give them a little shake. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'll turn around. Your left leg is stretched out, or your opposite leg. Take your strap, loop it around the foot. You're going to keep your back relatively straight, like pretty straight, because we're thinking more about stretching our heart towards our toes. You're going to try and soften your shoulders and try not to clench your teeth, all these things that we do when we're in these poses that really challenge us. And I'll count us down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Come all the way up. You can just leave your prop. Step your leg over. Now you're going to twist towards the bent knee. So if you're following my directions, it's going to be using the right leg. So twisting to the right. And again, pull yourself nice and tall. Your right arm, it's like a ruler, or your arm is like a ruler. It's going to help prop you up. You want to feel lots of twist in your back, across your belly. You feel pull in your hip. Let's take one more breath. And come all the way back. Okay. Right knee, or the knee, rests on the bottom leg, keeping your toes pointing to the ceiling, and we'll come forward any amount. Maybe you're using your prop, maybe you're staying like this and that's enough, but we're going to just try and breathe into this big stretch that you're getting in your calf muscle behind your knee. Maybe you're feeling it even all the way into the arch of your foot. Good. And we'll come all the way back up. All right, we'll stretch the legs out, give them a little shake. Let's take our hands behind us. Bring your palms to the ground with your fingers pointing towards your feet. And just pull your shoulders back. And I want you to remember that motion that we had when we were using the strap, when we were opening up our shoulders. I want you to try to just retract your shoulders back. Pull everything back. Maybe it feels like you're bringing your elbows a little closer towards each other. Of course, not touching or anything, don't worry about that. But just a nice big breath, prying open your chest. You're letting light into your heart. You're putting space in your heart. You're helping yourself breathe more deeply, taking the weight off your shoulders. All right, come back up. And guess what? We're going to do another forward fold. You can do it with your prop, without your prop, and this time you can take it however you want. So if you want to take a nice bold forward position with your knees bent and your back really round, do anything here that feels good for you. This is calming and relaxing to our nervous system. It's what we need right now. We're going to take one more breath. Come all the way back up. Okay. So, I'm going to show you another posture that we can end with, and there's a couple ways that we can do this. So we can end with lying down on our back in our resting position, and we're going to stay here for a few minutes, just letting all of our hard work, all of the sensations in the body, just letting them absorb. This is one position. Another position you may want to take is called legs up the wall. I really recommend this pose. People that practice with me know I talk about this posture as being great for helping us to sleep if we're experiencing insomnia or stress or just anything that impedes us from sleeping. But in day-to-day life, this is calming. It reduces your anxiety level. It's called legs up the wall. So all you need to do is slide your butt up to the wall. Make sure that your behind is up to the wall, and you can stretch your legs up. You can have your arms resting alongside your body. You can bring them out to the sides in cactus arms, whatever feels comfortable for you here. You can stop the tape, the video, and just get yourself set up, and then stay here for a couple of minutes. You can stay here longer if you want. I'm going to come down and just close this practice. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for sharing your time and your practice with me. I'm going to continue to do these videos. Any feedback that you have, totally good. I'm open to anything you have to say. But thank you so much, and be well, everybody. Namaste.